Hello and a very warm welcome from DOI. I'm Agrim and together with Naisha Arora and Varnika Kothari, we will explain to you the speaker roles needed for the modified WSDC debating format and the training needed to become proficient in it. First of all, the speaker roles. Now, briefly speaking, there are three main speakers for each side in the WSDC debate. The first speaker, namely the Prime Minister and Leader of Opposition for proposition opposition respectively. Second speaker, Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy Leader of Opposition. And third, but certainly not least, whip speeches and op whip speeches.
Hi, I'm Varnika, and today I'll be explaining the first speaker's role. The first speaker's role is essentially setting up the entire debate and giving the two or three main arguments on which the case is built on. The introduction or the setup of the debate includes defining the debate in a reasonable manner such that the other side does not disagree with it. Secondly, what are the goals that side proposition or opposition wants? What does the current status quo look like? What is that side's solution? This is especially important in a this house would or this house proposes or opposes motion. Then, who are the stakeholders of the debate? Who does the side want to benefit? And some points, if necessary, are concession as to what the side agrees on. Each argument made by the first speaker should be extremely well analyzed and impactful. What does this look like? Each argument should talk about a claim, the evidence talking about three or four logical strands as to why that argument is true, the impact, the outcome, why does that impact matter in the first place, and if possible, the speaker should also contrast the argument between proposition and opposition by explaining that what would happen on our side of the house compared to what would happen on their side of the house related to the same stakeholder. The impacting should also come at the end of the speech after explaining all the two or three arguments. This would look like we have these three arguments, and we will show you how this will lead to situation A, situation B, and situation C, and why should the judge necessarily care about it.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Agrim. So now I will be talking about the second speaker, or Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy Leader of Opposition, respectively. First of all, you start with your introduction in the form of rebuttals. In rebuttals, your job is to essentially drive a wrecking ball straight into the first speaker's argument and compare that to your first speaker's argument and prove why exactly it's better. For example, you can say that the first speaker of proposition's argument was ABC, and this is bad because of XYZ, and our argument is better because of DEF. Then, of course, some rebuilding, which I've already talked about, in the sense of saying our case is stronger because DEF. And then there are two new arguments. Again, this is an extremely crucial speech as this is the last constructive speech wherein new arguments can be added and a lot of rebuttal also takes place during this stage. Hence, it is a very critical speech. Now, in terms of arguments, we talk about claim, evidence, and impact. So, claim is our heading, essentially building on what the first speaker has already said. And secondly, you go on to evidence. How do we know it's true? For this, you can use statistics or you can use logic depending on the format of debate, but generally do not use a lot of statistics because you simply don't have time to. Third is the impact or outcome. Why exactly this argument is important, what would happen if this argument was implemented, for example, this could be your impact. And of course, if possible, compare the words, or in other words, weighing. Further entrenching the point of why your argument is better and why your side should win this debate. Now, you move on to your second argument, which is essentially the same as the first argument, but unlike the first argument, which mostly builds on what the first speaker said, in the second argument, you can introduce any new point if you wish. And that's pretty much it. Now, we're going to hand it over to Naisha.
Okay, so hi, I'm Naisha, and I'll be explaining the third speaker role. So, firstly, you're going to start on by introducing your case and what all has happened. You're going to start by rebuttals, which is basically showing the other side how what they've said is not true and nullify their points, and that is basically the most important role of the third speaker. Now, how do you tell the other side that what they said was wrong? Is that you note down whatever their main 3 points were, and then you rebut them by showing them your world's points. Then you move on to rebuilding. Rebuilding is showing the panel or just summing up whatever has happened in the course of the previous minutes of the debate. Secondly, you move on to clashes. And thirdly, you compare between both worlds, which again is weighing, as said by Agrim. So you first start by asking the panel or telling the panel that what is that which our side is fulfilling or is trying to fulfilling, and then you show him or her what broadly happened in the debate. You tell them your three arguments, and then you tell them that during the course of your speech, you will show them how your side is better than the other side, which is also called weighing. You'll then move on to rebuttals. How to address rebuttals is that you're going to mention the sentence said by the other side. You can say three things to that. Number one, we don't think that that is true because of ABC. Number two, you haven't really shown us how this is true because of number one, two, three. And thirdly, even if we do believe your arguments, it's not so important, and you're going to answer why. Another way to win clashes or way over your rebuttals while explaining this to the panel, you can say that panel, even if we take their best case and say that yes, okay, these benefits are there on their side of the world, but these benefits are also there on our side of the world. So it's not an exclusive gain on the opposition side. Clashes are basically points in the debate which both sides fight upon. How to answer clashes? Number one, is this necessary? Number two, is this really working as well as we think? Or is this really relevant to the status quo? And whose solution is better? So these are questions which you need to answer in relation to your side of the house and how they're only benefiting your side. Next, a few ways to attack an argument or a few ways to fill up your speech can be problem solution mismatch, where the opposition side is not, um, they fail to gather what the problem and the solution is. So their problem is something else, but the solution they are leading to will not be beneficial for the current problem in the current status quo. Secondly, there are other things more important than what you're saying. Like, for example, building a metro is not as important as giving homes to the poor who don't have food to eat, water to drink. Thirdly, you are generalizing. Generalizing means that you're generalizing people dying on roads, you're generalizing people not having food to eat, not having water to drink. Fourthly, you're cherry picking data. Cherry picking data is just taking one example that in India this is happening. Okay, in India this is happening, but what about all the other countries where it's not happening? So that's cherry picking data. Weak characterization. Characterization is explanation of the arguments you're giving. Next, fail to mechanize. Mechanization is a layer by layer analysis of your entire case or your arguments. Then no exclusivity in your game. So as I told you guys before, exclusivity is that okay, even if we say that we are going to provide them with water on our side of the world and food, that is also happening on our side of the world because of the model we have shown. A model is something which Varnika has already explained in the first speaker speech. And lastly, bigger harms that you haven't addressed. Sure, this means that sure the opposition says that metros are needed because of the pollution, but there are bigger harms like people dying on roads, like people not having food to eat and water to drink. And this is not really needed. Like in small cities, metros are being built, but these metros are actually causing even more traffic jam in these congested cities. So that is what we oppose, and that's pretty much it for the job of a third speaker.
I'm Varnika and I'm back to explain the reply speaker's role. Even though the reply speaker is not included in several competitions, especially for junior WSDC competitions, reply speeches become extremely important in debates where there's not a clear win or loss between the two teams, and both of them are really close to winning and have almost similar speaker points. The reply speaker has slightly different rules and regulations compared to the other speakers. Firstly, the reply speaker cannot introduce any new constructives or rebuttals. A reply speaker cannot suddenly add new analysis to the debate simply because the other side doesn't have time to reply. The reply speaker also has lesser speaking time compared to the other speakers, which is only 4 minutes compared to most WSDC speeches, which are 8 minutes. Then, what does the reply speaker actually do? The reply speaker's job in one line is that of biased adjudication. The reply speaker has to present the entire case of their side, probably of side or proposition or side opposition, and just restate the points, probably trying to explain them in the form of clashes. For example, who wins on the scale of impact, who tries to impact the most vulnerable stakeholders, and who has a better world in general. Just covering 3 or 4 points and highlighting the main reasons as to why your team won and as to why the other team lost, probably highlighting the best rebuttals from your side of the house, the greatest contradictions or fallacies on the other side of the house, is the way to win from a reply speaker. Another thing a reply speaker needs to do is in a debate which is extremely based on poor or vulnerable stakeholders, it's also important to add emotions as to why that side really cares about these vulnerable stakeholders and as to why they need to be impacted the most. With that, we come to the end of the presentation about speaker roles. We believe the presentation truly helped you, and thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow.
And goodbye.
Thank you, guys.